Hello, everybody. Good, I don't know, evening, afternoon, whenever I decide to drop this. Sorry for the late episode. It's not the end of the world. We have lives outside of this, especially Billy. He has way more of a life than I do.
That's not much.
But yeah, thank you for turning the show on at a different day, different time. I got a fun story that I think will set this episode off right, and I've been meaning to tell Billy about it too, so this will be good. So I've been talking about going to Connecticut for a show the past few episodes when I would say the dates at the end of the episode. And last night, I should say Thursday day actually, I took a subway from here to Grand Central, and this is important. All these modes of transportation. I took two subways, actually, because I had to transfer to Grand Central Station, which is about an hour. And then from there, I took a red line to New Haven, which is about another 2 hours. And then I took a train from New Haven to New London, which is the town right where I used to live. And it's right next to Mohegan Sun, where I was supposed to be performing on Thursday night. And then that train, turns out, was only taking me to the town next to New London, where I had to board a bus and then go to New London, then get picked up by my friend, go to Mohegan Sun. So that's like, 6 modes of transportation just to get to the casino where I was going to go perform that night. Now, I get there, and all I need for this show is for 4 people to show up. It's called a bringer show, and it's really a scam, right? After what happened on Thursday, I'm probably never doing a bringer show again, because the way it works is you need to bring so many people so that you can get stage time, and this one isn't that bad. This one's only 4. Some of them are like you need 6 people or something. Some of them are ridiculous. It's literally only to get, because they know that beginner/intermediate comics want to get stage time in front of a real audience, in front of a comedy club, the whole thing. So I had to bring 4 people, and I was like, okay, that'll be fine. I used to work at Mohegan Sun. I got a bunch of old coworkers that I can invite, and I did. And it seemed like I was going to have even more than 4 until I show up there, and it looked like I was going to have about 7 or 8 people show up, and I think 3 of them canceled at that time. So I was like, all right, I still have 5. Then another one was like, I'm working, I won't make it there in time, but I'll hang out with you guys after. So I'm like, okay, still fine, 4 people. I can still go up. So the kid that drove me, Nick, shout out Nick, I know he's going to be listening, and then another kid, Brendan, who I also used to work with, they showed up like off rip. I saw them. And then I hit up the other 2 people that were supposed to show. Never answered me. So I was like, okay, let's wait it out. We have till 9:45, because by then that's when the host, the guy who's putting the show on, he wants all the bringers sat by that point in time because he doesn't want to get screwed, whatever. So it's 9:45 and all I have are 2 people. And he goes, all right, if your other 2 don't show by the time the host is done and the next comic goes up, you can't go up. So you have 5 minutes. So I was like, okay, cool. So I texted this chick again, and no answer, no nothing. Long story short, I didn't get to go up. I didn't get to do jokes. It was a massive waste of a day. And that's really only the beginning of the story. Because by this point...
Are there any homeless people outside you could have just paid $5 to?
It's funny you mentioned homeless people, because... We'll get into it. I wish I could have. What I really should have done was, they were doing karaoke. I should have went up there, belted out a karaoke song, and then been like, hey, come watch me right next door. That's what I should have done. But I didn't think of it at the time. So I text my friend who's in the crowd, and I say, hey, they're not going to let me go up. And they paid tickets. They paid to get in. It was like $11 for them to get in.
And you brought them, and they still have to pay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's the point of
That's the whole
them.
scam. Yeah, exactly. I should also say, the way the show...
You still have to buy 2 drinks and all that?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So 4 drinks And $22.
Yeah. And the drinks.
I guess I didn't get that much on you because
The drinks are
you
in
didn't bring 4 people.
Yeah, exactly. It was only 2 people.
Joke's on them.
And the drinks at a casino, usually more expensive than anywhere else.
Yeah, even like $10 water bottles probably.
Oh, yeah, easy. But I should say this before I keep going with the story. The show started off really bad. They introduced the host by the wrong name. They actually said my name. They're like, Antonio Sloan. The kid's name was Matt Sloan. They said, Antonio Sloan. And then, like, he was already standing on the stage, and the lights came up, and he was, like, looking around all confused because they fucked his name up. And then he did a really bad job of opening the show. He wasn't very lively. He was very nervous, which is good for me because I get to go up and kill. But either way, the show started off like shit. Tell my friend, hey, I got to leave. And I look at my phone, and I'm like, okay, at least I can catch trains back now. Like, I can catch a couple trains. It looks like I'll be able to get back to New York tonight. So I tell him, I'm like, we got to get back to New London, which isn't far. Just drop me off at the station. I apologize, the whole thing. I was even like, if you don't want to take me back, just let me Uber or some shit because I had my bag in his car. And I'm like, okay, there's an 11:05 train from New London to New Haven. I'll get there at 12:05, and then there's a train. The last train leaving New Haven in New York is 12:07. So I was like, perfect. This will run perfectly. I get almost to New Haven, and I check my phone, and I was looking at the train from Grand Central to New Haven, not New Haven to Grand Central. So there was a train leaving Grand Central going to New Haven at 12:07, not New Haven to Grand Central at 12:07. So I get there, and I'm like, all right, when's the next train? 4 a.m. 4 a.m.
Story as old as time.
4 a.m. on Friday. And now I'm there, okay? I'm at this train station, which I have some experience being at when I lived in Connecticut. I used to go to that train station pretty often. And it's midnight, and everyone's just kind of laying around. Some people are sleeping. And I'm pretty angry. So I walk out, and I go down the street, and there's a diner that's 24 hours. I go there. I sit there for a little bit. I eat. I'm like, I'm not going to buy a room because I already spent all this money, and it wasn't that expensive, but still, to buy a fucking room for a night, I wasn't going to do that. So I was like, I'll hang out in this diner for as long as I can stand, and that was about 30 minutes. And but the walk was like 20, so with everything, it was probably an hour of time killed. And I get back to the train station, and it's completely empty. Nobody's inside. All there is are homeless people and winos outside.
This was all last night?
This was all last night. This was all
So
yeah. Exactly. And there's people sleeping. There's all this shit outside, though. Everyone's outside now. And I go in, and I didn't get the hint by how empty it was. But the area where people normally sit was getting cleaned. It was getting mopped. So I sat there, and the guy's like, hey, you can't sit there. I was like, okay. So I went down, and I found this other place to sit. And I sat there for a while and until I was bored of that because I really wanted to sleep. I really just wanted to find somewhere to lay down. So I go upstairs. There was another area where there were benches that weren't being cleaned. So I laid down there. Some guy comes up to me. He thought I was probably homeless. And he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm waiting for the train. I missed the fucking last train, or I read the wrong thing. I don't know. I fucked up. So I had to show him a ticket. Now he stands me up. He's like, all right, come sit over here. I go sit there. Another guy comes up to me. You can't sit there. Oh, my God. So I'm going back and forth. I go back to the original bench. I lay down. Another guy comes up. Hey, sit up. I'm like, dude, this is annoying. I just want to go to sleep. So I'm like, fuck it. I stand up. I go outside. And there was a nice concrete slab waiting for me next to all the other homeless guys. And I pretty much just slept for 2 hours on that concrete slab until about 3:45. I almost missed the 4 o'clock train, if I'm being honest. And, I laid there. I listened to homeless people argue. There were these 2 Jamaican guys. Sounded like they were arguing. I don't know. Jamaicans are very...
Expressive.
Expressive, good word. Yeah, I was going to say vibrant, but yeah, very expressive. So they were arguing. I was obviously nervous to fall all the way asleep because I'm outside in New Haven. New Haven, Connecticut is not the nicest place. I mean, Yale is there, but you'd never know. So, yeah, I woke up and then hopped on the train at 4 a.m., tried to sleep on that, barely did, got to Grand Central at 6, took 2 subways back here, got here for 7, went to bed, woke up at 2.
Yeah, I was a little surprised you texted me at like 7 a.m. I was like, he didn't strike me as a 7 a.m. guy.
Yeah, no. Unless a situation like that happens.
So that's usually when I get up for work, is around 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, Antonio, is everything all right?
Yeah. Clearly it wasn't. So, yeah, that was my fun night. But all that is to be said. I said all of that just to say that if you're a comedian, like a early on comedian, don't do bringer shows unless you've got people lined up, and also don't travel super far if you have a bringer show. Like if I had a car, maybe it would have made a little bit more sense. It's a little more comfortable. Like I could have slept in my car or something. Like I could have,
or just drove home.
Exactly. I could have done either or. If you got a car, it's one thing. Don't take 15 trains and 6 buses and hit up your buddy for a ride from the train station if you're not going to go up. But hey, you got to go for it, I guess. It's all or nothing in this game. So either way, that was a fun time. It was a learning experience. Definitely don't plan on doing any of that anymore. But anyway, enough about me. We have some fun shit to talk about. I think I want to start with Conor. Conor McGregor. Let's do Conor McGregor. Fuck it. He's there we go. Look at that. Look at that headline. Conor McGregor accused of sexually assaulting woman at NBA Finals game. I remember when Conor was like the poster boy for the UFC. I guess he still kind of is. He's like by a long shot the most famous fighter across all fighting sports. Yo, easy. By a long shot. Like, I don't know who would be next. Maybe Tyson Fury? There's people like him, and he doesn't fight that often. Neither Conor. Conor has done something very special in the sense that he doesn't need to win. Like, he doesn't need to win, and people still...
Yeah, and he'll clear, $40, $50 million a show.
Oh, easy. And so, for those of you who haven't heard about this, he was at the finals game. What was it, game 4? And before he went and did this to this woman, allegedly, he actually sent the mascot to the hospital. Did you see that?
I thought that was fake. Did that really happen?
I think he overdid it. I think what happened was he was like supposed to fake knock him out.
Cushioned and they're not like a real head in there?
Yeah, maybe. Because he hit him. I think it was the second shot because he cracked him and then he fell. And then he hit him again. And I think it was the second one that was worse. Tough day at the office for a mascot. However, if you are a mascot, if that's your job, which doesn't seem to be that lucrative or that great of a job, nobody knows who you are. You're probably hot in that thing. You got a rash. I don't know if there's better situations than getting KO'd by Conor McGregor if you're a mascot. Maybe doing like a front flip off the trampoline and dunking the ball. That's always fun. But you can say that you got cracked by Conor McGregor for free. Not the worst thing in the world, I think. I mean, I would sue. I think I would sue if I was the mascot. But nonetheless.
It'll definitely settle. He has so much money.
Sure. Like he probably will with this woman if it's a real thing. I love that as soon as this came out, Andrew Tate tweeted at him and is like, rich men aren't safe. Rich men are fucked. Yeah, maybe because, I don't know. Maybe because rich men are the ones doing all the raping. Maybe it's because rich men are the ones who, I don't know, typically get in trouble for this kind of thing.
I think poor men do plenty of raping, too. Sure.
But we find out about the poor men.
And the rich men.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, Vince McMahon, right? It took a while, but we found out about Vince McMahon paying off ladies. Cosby, right? Eventually, What's the term? Chickens come to roost. So it's good that at least Conor McGregor has Andrew Tate's support. I'm sure he needs it. So let's read some of this. This is from ESPN. UFC star Conor McGregor has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman during an NBA Finals game last week in Miami, according to legal letters obtained Thursday by ESPN.
Is it the same night?
It was the same night. That's why I'm saying it's so.
Really going for the trifecta that night.
I know he has to. He has to have done one more. Maybe he got like a DWI or something. If he got a DWI that night, he knocked out the mascot, allegedly assaulted a woman. One more thing. He's got to add one more thing.
Yep, they come in threes.
Yeah. The woman said McGregor violently forced himself on her. McGregor? Violent? Inside a VIP men's bathroom at Kaseya Center, according to a letter sent to McGregor and his team. She said that McGregor aggressively kissed her before also attempting to force her into multiple sexual acts. Let's see. Mr. McGregor, this is what his attorney said. Mr. McGregor will not be intimidated. Okay? Lanes wrote in a statement to ESPN. He'll not be intimidated. Okay? He's never been intimidated in the octagon. He will not be intimidated in a court of law. I don't know. This is like a real fall from grace. But it's not at the same time because he's still so rich. He's going to be in the, what's the new movie? Roadhouse, right? He's hanging out with Jake Gyllenhaal. He's the coach of The Ultimate Fighter, which seems to be a gimmick at this point. I mean, I
haven't watched any of it, but I'm sure. Like I'm all in on him and Chandler fighting. Sure, I don't care who wins. Just do it. Just do the damn thing.
That's the other thing. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he had like a day or something to get into the USADA test pool, and it's just he didn't do it, or it's super close. The deadline.
I know he was asking for special forgiveness because he used some sort of substance to fix his broken bones,
right?
Which I think was granted, but I don't know. I'm sure they'll work it out. If he really wants to fight, they'll get him in the ring.
Oh yeah, totally. But it's kind of funny seeing him as the coach on the show because his team keeps losing. Like he's 0-3 in the first 3 episodes. He's lost every single one. I think I didn't watch this last one. I think it was a decision, but the other 2 they got finished. And it was funny. The first episode, the kid got smoked in like 8 seconds. He got KO'd. And Conor just walked in the back, all jittery, with a suit on, and he just like slaps him on the shoulder, and he's like, "Fuck it, come back to the gym," and just dipped, just walked out. Didn't even show up to weigh-ins. Like you could tell he doesn't give a shit. Which is fun, right? It adds to his persona of.
Well, this is the second time he was a coach. He was a coach against Uriah Faber. A bunch of years ago.
Yep.
And I feel like he was really into it then.
Yeah. You're probably right. But that was also.
Like there's a video of him like throwing his like $3,000 sunglasses,
bugging out. Yeah. Stay on your feet. He's screaming. Yeah. He doesn't do that in this. In this, he's like. Shining his Rolex.
Yeah. Who can I assault tonight?
Yeah, it's essentially. But it's funny. I mean, there is always you can't disagree with Andrew Tate completely in this situation.
I mean, you got to follow that quote up with something strong now.
Right.
You can't disagree with Andrew Tate about
in this current situation.
Pick your words wisely.
Very carefully, exactly. I feel like this happened to Conor already in another situation, and it got proved wrong. Or he settled, which is still not the right thing, I don't think. Like, maybe it is.
It probably saves everyone time to just settle when you're rich already.
Yeah.
You're
because
like, sorry, or here, take this and stop using my name.
Yeah. Well, I'd assume that woman's got worse dick for free. If we're being honest.
Also.
Willingly,
And maybe unwillingly also.
Sure. I mean, how many women get sexually assaulted by a broke guy?
Yeah.
And they can't, I mean, at least it was Conor McGregor. At least it was Andrew Tate, right? Andrew Tate, he's still... Nobody, they haven't said anything
Well, wasn't he trafficking women? Wasn't that the thing?
Allegedly.
I think He locked up for a month. He did something.
He must have, but they haven't said what it was. They haven't found any proof. I wasn't alive. Neither of us were alive when this happened to Mike Tyson, because he got locked up for allegedly raping a woman. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I guess that got swept under the rug, because you don't hear about that anymore. He went to prison. He went to prison. Yeah, he went to prison for like 6 years, which he said was a really good time. So I guess Conor, you got something to look forward to.
It was probably the most stable his life ever was at that point.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's partly what he said. He's like, I had peace of mind in prison, and who doesn't want peace of mind, especially when you're, one of the biggest fighters in the world. But there is a legitimate thing that does happen on both sides, right? Obviously, men can be filthy, disgusting animals who sexually assault women. But there are some women out there that are money grabbers. Gold digging.
Who is?
There we go. That was the words we were looking for. Gold digging sluts trying to, take down the rich man.
Skank ass.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I guess there's validity on both sides. We just got to wait and see. We got to wait and see what happens. It's funny. You really can't believe either side, but they tell you to just believe women. Did you ever see the Bill Burr special, Paper Tiger, a little while ago?
Yes.
Where he's like, believe women. He's like, really? Just believe them all the time? They don't lie either? Like, yeah. But yeah, obviously we got to give the lady the benefit of the doubt. I mean, this sounds terrible. What kind of an animal you'd have to be to go to the NBA Finals game, not be a basketball player, and rape somebody?
And beat up the mascot.
And
probably something else, too, apparently.
There's got to be one more thing. He had to have gone home and hit his wife or something.
Or evaded taxes.
Yeah, that's arguably worse. I mean, we're all paying taxes, buddy. Come on, Conor. Let's see, what else is in this article? What else can be said? UFC issued a statement Thursday saying it was aware of the allegations against McGregor, adding that it will continue to gather additional details regarding the incident. UFC will allow the legal process to play out before making any additional statements. I love that sporting sport organizations are kind of like harboring criminals. All of them do.
Yeah, they're enablers.
Yeah. Fucking football players all beat up their wives and get DWIs. Obviously, they have CTE. But same thing with the UFC. I mean, the UFC is they rake in all the guys that got dropped off other shit. Like, the first one that comes to my mind is Greg Hardy.
Yep.
Like, he did so much bad shit that he was out of the NFL, which seems to take a lot. Unless you're really good. If you're really good, you could pretty much do whatever you want. Kind of like Conor.
And he was so.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he was actually pretty good at fighting. Like, he had potential. Like, if he was fighting his whole career and never went to the NFL, he'd probably be a contender.
Oh, totally. All those guys would be. I mean, they're all super
like
athletes.
Freaks, yeah.
If they just decided to fight, everyone would be fucked. I say that about LeBron. It's like if LeBron decided to fight.
Yeah. Well, do you think, would he even be able to make heavyweight? Like, he's huge.
Yeah, but he's not 300 pounds, is he? I don't know how much he weighs. He's a big fucker.
He's like 260.
Yeah.
But all muscle, too. So
right.
If he had to cut anything, let's split up.
Yeah. And I mean, he's so tall. Nobody's that tall in fighting usually, unless you're...
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been maybe Steven Struve, a 6'8".
Oh, yeah. He was 7 foot, Stefan Struve.
He was 7 foot?
Yeah, I loved watching Mark Hunt break his face.
Mark
That was
Hunt's
beautiful.
The walk-off king.
He's the king. He won recently. He knocked somebody out in a boxing match. That was good.
6'9", 250.
Okay, so he could fight heavyweight.
Yeah, he's in there.
He could fight it. That's a big fucker, dude. Yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky that LeBron didn't get kicked out of the NBA for assaulting someone and decided to go to the UFC to be a professional. But that's kind of how fighting goes in general. People who couldn't get to the professional level at any other sport just end up kind of becoming fighters. That's why you have so many athletes. It's like, I played basketball in junior college, and now I fight. and I'm on a pro promotion. It's kind of how that rolls. So I look forward to hearing more about this story. I look forward to hearing more about what Conor McGregor is going to do next. There was a video. I don't know if you saw the video. It came out.
No.
They, of course, don't show the victim, but they show him what looks like he's grabbing a lady's hand, bringing her to the bathroom. He could have just been showing her the correct way to wash her hands. I mean, it was not that long ago. Everyone forgot how to wash their hands during COVID, and we all learned again.
20 seconds.
Yeah, you need you got to sing "Happy Birthday" twice or whatever, right? Isn't that what it is?
I heard that one.
Yeah. So he was probably in there showing her how to sing "Happy Birthday" and wash her hands correctly. There was another woman.
Like a gentleman.
Yeah, yeah. Get the fuck. You'll do what you're told, mate. That was that quote definitely is going to be dubbed over some of this shit. So I don't know. It'll be fun. I gotta say though, I think he's probably surpassed John Jones in craziness. I think John Jones has a little bit more of a resume.
Yeah, I mean, with Conor, it's just like I feel like it's kind of been his personality, even like the whole time. Like he's very emotional, but like Jones was literally doing cocaine and fighting at the same time.
Right.
And then he had like a hit and run where he like hit a pregnant lady, ran into his car, grabbed the bowl, and panicked. It was like crackhead behavior.
Right. That's not good either. But I remember when Conor punched that old dude in the pub. That was a problem for a while.
They're very similar. But but Jones was obviously one of the best of all time. Conor, very good, not the best of all time, but absolutely amazing.
He's more of a game changer. Like he
was like the first
cash cow, like real cash cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're happy to have him. Is the
I'm on board. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
We're happy to have. I mean, I want to see him fight again. He already broke his leg. How much are you gonna take from this man? I want to see him fight somebody. I'd like to see him fight Chandler. Chandler would be fun. Have him fight anyone.
He's probably saying to the woman, "Your lawyer's in my DM."
Yeah. She was in me DMs, Your Honor. I was showing her how to wash her hands, Your Honor. Happy birthday twice. Well, anyway, we wish him the best. Conor McGregor, stay out of the NBA. Stop going to the games. Season's over anyway. What do we got next? Oh, this is a fun one. 28. Which one are we? It's the 28-year-old, right? Oh, nice. This is fun. This is nice. It's a little. We could stop talking about rape for a little bit, I suppose. We started this episode off hot. 28-year-old woman accused of posing as a Louisiana high school student. This is more wholesome. This is actually very nice. Now, what this story is basically about is a woman and her mother moved from Honduras, and the 28-year-old girl wanted to learn English. So the mom enrolled her at a high school in Louisiana. Now, if you want to learn English, a high school in Louisiana might not be the best place to learn. They got some funky accents down there. There's some inbreds, I'm sure, walking around. There might be better places to learn English. Now, I understand you're from Honduras.
Clearly didn't know better.
Right. They didn't know. They're like, Louisiana, that's America, right? We should figure this out. We can learn English at their high schools. Let's pretend you're 17.
But also just getting in and as far as faking as a 17-year-old student, you're probably smarter than most of Louisiana right then and there.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I mean, I don't know how long she was there, but let's read a little bit about it. Martha Yesenia Gutierrez Serrano. Why do they have so many fucking names, Spanish people? You remember in, what was that show? Sweet Life of Zach and Cody? And they had the, what was his name? Esteban. And the whole joke was that his name was really long.
I didn't watch it, but...
Oh, good. Anyway.
They hold on to past generations' names.
That's what it is, yeah, I guess.
So
that's a lot.
That's like that would be her married name. That would be her mother's maiden name, and then her mother's maiden name.
Jesus. Talk about baggage.
So they just hold on to all the generations.
Yeah. Well, so this woman and her mom, both of Boot. What is Boot? Butte? Oh, that must be the place in Louisiana. They were arrested. You're going to arrest these two ladies for getting an education. All right, fine. I not that long ago, people still say it, but people don't like it when Spanish people don't learn the English language. They come here, they take our jobs, they don't learn the language. This is a prime example of somebody trying to learn the language and you throw them in jail.
They're the same people who like vacation to France and then don't learn even a single hello or goodbye or anything.
Yeah, they can't even say croissant.
Yeah.
They're like, let me get one of them flaky, the flaky one.
Give me the weird shaped biscuit.
Yeah. So they were arrested. They threw them in jail. I don't think they threw them in jail, but they definitely got charged with something. One count of injuring public records. What an interesting law. Interesting wording. Injuring public records. Serrano Alvarado used a fake passport and birth certificate from Honduras to register and enroll her daughter at Hanville High School for the 2022-23 school year, the sheriff's office said. Sheriff Greg Champagne, a hater, if we're being honest, at a news conference Wednesday said Gutierrez Serrano told investigators she enrolled in school to learn the English language. She wanted to learn English. She wanted to become proficient in the English language, so we locked her up. There was no nefarious reason behind this, he said, adding that the falsifying of government documents to do this was just bad judgment. Champagne noted there were other avenues the woman could have taken, including enrolling in ESL or GED programs. Certainly, that is a much better option than falsifying records. But who wants a GED? Anyone you hear has a GED, it's like, did you just not finish high school? Like, high school's like one of the easiest things to do in this life. It gets way harder after high school. And my brother just graduated high school. And I remember telling him, I'm like, and you might remember the feeling, too, when you were in high school, where it's like, that's it. This is the most important thing ever.
Yep.
And then it ends, and you're like, whoa, none of that mattered at all.
Yep, like SATs.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck about an SAT? Apparently this girl really, she wanted to learn, guys. There's plenty of far worse illegal activities you can do than enrolling your... I mean, were they legal? If they were legal, there's nothing here saying they were illegal in the country. All they did was something like the enrollment.
They didn't punch a mascot.
They didn't punch a mascot, and they're not on rape watch, apparently. Maybe that's why they left Honduras, though. Maybe they went to a soccer game and they knocked out the Honduran gopher, whatever the soccer team's mascot is, and they both raped a man.
And objectified a piñata.
Yeah, in a bathroom. And the piñata was rich and Irish.
Had to get out of there.
Yeah. No current evidence of any other criminal activity or inappropriate conduct by either woman. 4 days after the school year ended. Wow, so she got to the end of the year. Interesting.
Just let her finish.
That's what I'm saying. Now, did they enroll her? So 17, she had to have been, what, a senior? Or a junior? But who went up to this person and said, hey, she might be in her mid-20s? Don't you know it's rude to assume a woman's age? Don't you know that you got to take a woman's age? You don't ask a woman's age, first of all. And if she says she's 17, you take it. That's it. Oh, you're 17. All right, I'm an adult. I can't have sex with you. Conversation ends. Conversation with the principal ends when he decides that he can't pipe this 17-year-old student. So because of this, the school system will enhance processes to determine the authenticity of enrollment documents for current and future students, as well as modify policy and procedures as warranted. So, I mean, I guess this is good for the school, too, to not let, something else like this happen. People didn't put safeties on guns until thousands of people probably shot themselves in the leg. So, I don't know. Good on this girl for trying to learn. Fuck the Louisiana sheriff that won't allow it. I think it's awful. What do people come to America for? For a better life. And this lady was trying. She was trying, and I think we should support her. If I could start a GoFundMe to send this girl English books, I think that would be a very valiant effort.
Throughout the litigation, she'll probably learn a good deal of more English.
Yeah, she's going to learn about a lot of legal jargon.
Plea deal.
Yeah, she's going to be able to go to Dunkin' Donuts and ask for a plea deal because it's one of the only words.
She may learn some Latin phrases.
Yeah, e pluribus unum.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm really learning a lot here in this country. The classrooms change. Before,
this place sucks.
Before I was sitting with children, now I'm sitting with people in suits, and my feet and hands are bound.
And sketch artists drawing me for some reason.
So's my mother.
And that lady's typing every word I say.
They do a really good job of school. I mean, how bad? I mean, I'm sure the school system in Honduras is probably terrible, if I had to assume. While I sit on my big American imperialist high horse here.
You probably just go to like a riverbed and learn how to trap a fish and beat it with a rock.
Yeah, they're like, that's all you need. Go ahead. If you want more, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to pretend that you're 17 and go to Louisiana if you want more than this. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This isn't the worst thing in the world. I think it's. I think there's people in America that wouldn't do this for their children. You know, like there's probably a kid who never really learned how to speak well because he grew up in an impoverished environment, and I'm sure their meth-addicted mother wouldn't drive them across states and counties to let them learn. This is a true American patriotic story. And I'm happy I found it, and I'm happy I was able to tell you guys about it. Because this lady, she's an American hero, whether you want to agree with it or not. The school system's free, right? The school system is fucked anyway, so you might as well let 28-year-olds join in. Get a little, get a little maturity going on in there.
I thought there were, like, night classes for adults. Is that only GED programs or ESL stuff?
I guess, or like
is that only in movies?
Community college stuff. Because I remember when I went to the community college I went to, there were plenty of Hondurans walking around trying to learn English. But I would think so. They just probably didn't know. They were like, "Fuck it, that says school, right? All right, let's go in." You're
12.
You're 17, whatever your name is, Maria. I'm going to assume Maria because that's a stereotypical Spanish name. We wish her the best, of course. Yeah, hopefully she learns some shit. Hopefully they don't lock her up too fucking bad. Now what do we got next? What's the next thing? I think we got something about a guy in Illinois or Illinois. Did I say Illinois? That's terrible. There we go.
Illinois does make more sense.
Illinois, yeah, it should be.
It's a French word, I think.
Illinois. Well, this man was charged. This doesn't make sense. All right, these laws are getting ridiculous. How is he charged for shooting himself in the leg? You can't even shoot yourself in the leg anymore. It's bad enough you can't pose as a 17-year-old and learn English when you come from another country. Now you can't Oh, this is something else.
Did I hit the wrong one?
I think so.
Let's hit back.
Destruction in Texas. There we go. Illinois man charged after telling police he shot himself in leg during dream about home intruder. This is the way people are living nowadays. People are so on edge and so worried about shit that an old man, this guy's in his 60s, I think. It said 60-something. Wakes up out of his sleep thinking that somebody's in the house, gun ready. You got to have your gun ready, especially when you live in Illinois. I don't know how close this guy is to Chicago, but you got to have your gun ready. This guy knows. And he had a bad dream. He had a bad dream, picked up his 357, and shot himself in the leg. Where was he at? Lake Barrington. That sounds nice. That doesn't sound like anywhere bad. But he was worried, guys, and as a child who grew up with a woman known as my grandmother who would have horrible night terrors.
Not that far from Chicago.
Not that far.
Pretty inwards.
Right. Well, you never know. You never know if bad Leroy Brown from the south side of Chicago decides to hop on over to Lake Barrington and rob your house. He knows. He's got to be ready for anything. And I just love this story because it really is an indication of how worried people are all the time. You know, everyone is distraught. Everyone thinks people are going to come for their money. He had a nightmare that someone was going to rob him, and it was so vivid. He thought it was real. He shot himself in his goddamn leg. Now, let's see. Deputies who found the 62-year-old man with a gunshot wound on one of his legs applied a tourniquet to the limb because he was losing a significant amount of blood before being hospitalized. The man told investigators he had a dream, yada, yada, yada. When he fired, he shot himself, so he did it while he was asleep. That's even sicker. He did it while he was asleep. He shot himself while he was asleep. So this is not the guy whose house you want to rob because he'll kill you while he's sleeping. He has no problem letting a gun off while he's in dreamland.
And it's loaded.
It's ready to go. It was already loaded? Or did he...
Do you think he loaded it sleeping?
Maybe. I mean, fuck. Maybe. Loaded it, cocked it, bang. You're not robbing me. And then he woke up, shot himself probably in his...
like some John Wick proficiency there.
Right. Probably in his femoral artery. That's the one in your leg. Bang. Shot that shit. Now, when I was a kid, I'll tell you this. I used to sleep at my grandmother's house. And she would have these horrendous night terrors. 70-year-old woman, when I was a kid, she would wake up screaming. She'd scream in Italian. She'd go, La mort! La mort! It means death, like the death. Everyone's dying, basically. She would wake up screaming that. And I would get really used to this. But some nights she would barge into the room that I was sleeping in and wake me up and feel my face and make sure that I wasn't, dead. And I'm 7 years old, right? I'm like 7 years old, and I hear just my grandmother, the one who's supposed to be the, my guiding light as a child, screaming at the top of her lungs, waking me up, feeling my face, making sure I'm alive. Never once did she pull out a gun. And thank God, because I, in that dream, could have been the person killing me in real life, and she wouldn't have known. She could have came in the room with a 357, bang, killed her 7-year-old grandson.
Loaded it, cocked it, shot you.
That's right. And my grandfather...
Or her own leg.
Everyone in the house, probably. My grandmother's a psycho. just from that part of the story, you could tell that the rest of my grandmother is half psycho. And she's still around. It must be even worse now because she's older now. Like she's 87 and lives alone. So I couldn't imagine what a nightmare would be like at that. It's probably far worse. But anyway, not to put a damper on things, talking about my grandmother's horrible night terrors, I don't know what is this guy being charged with exactly?
That's what I was trying to read ahead and figure out, but
it doesn't say.
The
what attorney?
Firearms owner identification card had been revoked. So the weapon was illegal. That's why I was like, why is shooting yourself illegal? And then I read further. And
what a load of shit. So that guy would have been fine. He could have kept his illegal gun if he didn't just shoot himself in his leg. What a fumble.
Valid FOID?
FOID card. Probably
Firearm owner ID?
Yeah, there we go.
Card.
You need that to have a gun in this place. See, if he lived a little closer to Chicago, maybe this wouldn't have been nobody would have even heard anything. Would have been like, oh, this isn't bad.
Well, he almost died. So
sure.
I think that's why he had to involve
why he had to involve the police. He's like, fuck, I shot myself. I thought it was... That's insane. So a man who answered the phone listed for the man's decline. So he doesn't want to talk to anybody about anything. He's probably embarrassed.
Cheddar Bob.
Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, huh? Cheddar Bob. That's a good point. How close is Detroit to Illinois? That's pretty close.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. That might be Cheddar. That might be Cheddar Bob, retired. He may have quit rapping.
Bob would be about 62 right now.
Sure. There he is. We solved the mystery. Cheddar Bob never learned.
MC Bob.
MC Bob. But he almost shot his dick off in the movie, right? Wasn't that what it was? Yeah.
I think he did hit an artery, right?
Sure. Damn. That's a shame. Imagine being old as hell, so worried that you have a gun ready to go. I wonder if he lives alone. He must live alone. Because if he had a wife, I feel like she
would have applied the tourniquet, and we wouldn't have heard about it.
Exactly. He would have never got charged with anything. Things would have been fine. Now, this guy's got to go through a whole legal process. It's like a real inconvenience. It's like a parking ticket. That's what this sounds like to me.
And maybe that Honduran woman will learn good enough English to represent this man in court.
I like this.
And they will then see a Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler fight, and everything will all come full circle. And then one of them will get stuck in Connecticut. Yeah.
That's a good way to tie everything in.
That's the end of the story.
Yeah, that's a good way to tie everything in. Yeah, as we do with everyone else that we've been talking about, we wish this gentleman the best. Hopefully he's recovering well. I just thought it was interesting that, like, I don't know. I'm sure things like this happen all the time and nobody hears about it. But it really says something to how worrying everyone is, or how worried everyone is. Like last week, we were breathing in six cigarettes? Is that what it was? How bad the air was?
That's what I heard, yes. In an hour?
Yeah.
Or 24 hours out.
I think it is 24 hours.
And it was equivalent to 6 cigarettes?
Yeah. Now, I smoke cigarettes from time to time, so I had more than 6 cigarettes that day.
That's almost half a pack, right?
Yeah. I mean, a pack's 20.
Oh, a pack's 20?
Yeah. So if I had 4 more that day, which I might have one of those days, yeah. That's 10 cigs in a day, which normally I would never touch. So I want to thank climate change and the wildfires for enhancing my
smoke intake.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Precisely.
I felt terrible. I don't know if it was mental, but I felt disgusting.
Dude, I work in a restaurant, and there's outside seating, and people were sitting outside eating tacos and drinking margaritas while, like, everyone's blinking because their eyes are burning. Yeah. There's people passing out in the street.
Everything tastes like smoke. Everything smells like smoke. My clothes felt dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy, dude. I mean, walking outside, it looked like Fallout. You ever play Fallout? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like fucking... It was nuts. It was definitely nuts, but it was...
Or it looked like how, like, we depict Mexico in movies.
Yes. Or like a Western.
Yeah. Like
310 to Yuma. Mm-hmm. And everything's
all orange and
yeah. But you're not in a desert. You're in a fucking city. You're in one of the biggest cities in the world, and people are walking around choking. Not as bad as 9/11, you think? Probably, right?
I mean, on what scale are you asking me this?
In terms of, like, I don't know, memorable.
No, it's not as bad.
Memorable New York tragedies.
Oh no,
yeah,
it's gonna be forgotten about next week.
Yeah, definitely. The fact we're talking about it now, people are like, "Why you even?" I'm sure people are listening, and they're gonna be like, "Why are you even mentioning it?" Like, who gives a fuck?
No, I feel like it fucked with the weather too, because it hailed really, really hard too the next day.
Oh shit!
I can show you a video.
When, on Thursday? Or was it Wednesday? Because I think Tuesday and Wednesday were the bad days.
I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'll show you the video. It's kind of wild. I've never seen hail like this.
Yeah. Oh, it had to have.
And I'll text it to you so you could show them.
Yeah.
But this is like the roof.
Whoa. Of my house. Wow, you got the solar panels.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Don't pay for electric around there.
That is nice.
Just
Damn.
giant hail, though.
Massive hail.
I was in the shower and I ran out because I thought someone was breaking into my window. 'Cause
It's just big
it's
ass
just
hail.
off my air conditioning unit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure, clouds and clouds of smoke will have some kind of effect
It has to, right?
on the weather. Yeah. And it's funny how bad we're like, this is terrible. We can't walk around. We can't do anything. Imagine how bad it is where it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Like, they had to evacuate places. Imagine if they evacuate. They wouldn't
And
evacuate
last
New
time we
York.
were sitting here, we kind of called bullshit on it, right?
We did. I was making fun of my mom. Sorry, Mom. Butt of my joke in that situation. We were making fun of it. And you texted me like the day that it was going on, and you're like, those wildfires have some merit now. It's like, fuck, Mom was right again. But yeah, I mean, between that, the climate change stuff, and the wars, and the interest rates, and the money, and all that shit, everyone's worried about things. It's understandable that a guy would wake up and do something like this. Now, there's been plenty of protests, especially this month, it being Pride Month and the whole thing. Obviously, the viral picture went around with the one trans girl who showed her tits while she was hanging out with her trans men friends, and they banned the girl. What an interesting thing, because obviously, historically, men, it's okay for us to take our shirts off pretty much anywhere. You can walk around with your shirt off in front of the White House on any given day, more or less.
Sure.
Now, this was some kind of, I don't know if it was a protest, but it was there was like a rally or something. It was like an LGBT thing that was going on.
If only we had like an article or something.
Yeah. No, this was in Massachusetts, though.
Oh, this is different?
Yeah, no, this is a different thing. This has to do with climate change. But anyway, I wanted to mention it's okay for guys to walk around with their shirt off. Now, these guys were once girls, and they had their shirts off. Nobody could tell the difference from afar. People were fine. Their friend, who was once a guy and is now a lady, thought, hey, I'm going to take my shirt off because I used to have that freedom before. Not anymore. You got tits. No one wants to see
now, so
your
can
bare
the
tits.
arresting officer assume gender?
He might have to. I mean, at that point, he might have to. If the law is, if the indecent exposure lies on the woman's nipple, which for whatever reason it does, because you watch something, I mean, they show the whole thing, but the nipple sometimes. Maybe he does have to assume a gender, and in that case, he'll be fired immediately. So that was fun. That girl went viral. You guys know who we're talking about, or who I'm talking about. Now, this is another story, a little closer to my backyard, where I'm from, over in good old Massachusetts. No ifs, ands, or buts with 2 T's, which implies there was some ass cheeks being shown. Protesters drop pants to protest climate change. What an interesting, like, how do the two correlate? I'm sure they'll explain it, but what an interesting thing. Like, to show your ass to stop climate change. Now, it says it here. Climate change protesters dropped their pants at the Massachusetts State House during a debate on a proposed tax relief package Thursday to bring attention to what they say is the need for swifter action against the use of fossil fuels. So they're already working toward fixing it. Now these people just want to come and get some attention, so they turned their backs to the Senate chamber and lowered their pants to reveal letters that spelled out "Stop Passing Gas" on their bare backsides. The protesters were all wearing
How
pink
many
thongs.
people is this? Was it like one letter per cheek?
Right. I think
So
there was like
that's-
8 of them.
Okay, so that's an ass. That's an ass. 3 asses, 4 asses, 5 asses. Probably needed a space, so we'll say 6 asses, 7 asses, 8th ass.
Someone stuck with an S and the
and an
exclamation point.
exclamation point.
He's like, come on, man. Why do I got to do those? That's it? I want more. Let me be in the middle. So they were chanting and disrupting the Senate while showing their asses. I don't know if having that written on your ass cheeks sends a better message than having it written on a piece of paper, like as a poster.
The pink thongs is a nice taste. It's
Right.
Like,
well, at least they chose pink.
well, you have to at that point. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month every month, so we do need pink always. The 8 protesters were chanting and disrupting the Senate session, according to state police. And just before 2 p.m., they were told it was closed, the public gallery, so they refused to leave. And they said, all right, we're going to show our asses to people and then get charged with trespassing on state property, disorderly conduct, and indecent exposure. See, you could have taken the last one off. You didn't need the indecent exposure, in my opinion. I don't know. I just don't know that the point got across any better. I think it was like, that's like a high school prank. We talked about high school pranks a little while ago. That's like a high school prank. Everyone pulls their ass and says, fuck Mrs. Johnson or something. That's what it sounds like to me. This doesn't seem like the beginning of a great movement in my mind.
Is there a video of this? Because I kind of want to see like the senators' response.
Yeah, they're all old. What if they pulled out their asses and they had something similar written?
Or pulled out their wallets and started throwing dollar bills.
That'd be even a better response. They just play like strip club music. Someone gets in the microphone.
Bailiff.
Yeah.
Is there even a bailiff at these things? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Please welcome Destiny to the stage. Stop passing gas. I don't know. Why are they protesting something that's like, I don't know. I thought you protest some shit that you want to get fixed that they aren't attempting to fix. Like, they're already talking about fixing climate change in this Senate meeting. That's what it sounds like they're saying. What would make more sense is if they went up there and they were for fossil fuels and they said, keep passing gas. That's a protest. You don't protest something.
I'd whip my ass out for that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't protest something that they're already trying to fix. It doesn't, it doesn't make sense. It's like if Martin Luther King just was like, let's bring back slavery, guys. Come on. That's what a protest would be. Or the opposite of a protest. The exact opposite of a protest. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Massachusetts, they have a lot of this weird shit. One time I did an episode where people were upset that the flag of Satan, like the Satanist flag, was being raised in the town square because a new law was passed that you can display images or articles or emblems, like religious emblems of all kinds. And the Satanist church in Boston was like, yes, finally, we could love our Dark Lord in front of everybody, and people didn't like that. So I don't know. They get a little wild out there.
It's like the same energy as that was Massachusetts also as the guy who put the bumblebee thing up, right?
What was that?
At the last article we pulled up last episode, it was
No, that was D.C.
That was at D.C. Yeah,
the
right.
genius with
yeah.
the transformers in front of his house.
Yeah, I thought that was Boston also.
Yeah. That would make sense too in Boston.
Similar cities, old cities.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this got somewhere. Maybe all the Senate people, after witnessing that, were like, you know what? They got a point. We have to stop fucking around with these fossil fuels. Thank God.
Well, if you read further, I feel like their efforts were kind of contradictory because it literally says they were already passing a bill to build like solar, offshore wind and solar energy, give some local authority limiting the use of fossil fuels. Yep, limiting the use of fossil fuels. So they were already doing it.
They were just out there like, do it more. Yeah. Do it more. At least sign the bill on our bare asses. Do that. Again, we wish them well. One more thing before we wrap this episode up. It is, of course, we're leaning into Father's Day very soon. Now, when I was growing up, June, the only holiday was Father's Day. Pretty much. I mean, summer, the start of the summer, whatever. But that was my birthday's in June. I got family members' birthdays in June. But as far as holidays went, it was only Father's Day. Now, June is Pride Month, and there's Juneteenth, that's the day after Father's Day, I think, right? June 19th. And there's Father's Day. Now I have to ask, why?
Field day?
What is it?
Field day?
What's Field Day? In school?
Or Flag Day. One of those.
Is that in?
Is Field Day also a holiday? I feel like it was.
Field Day was like in middle school when you fucking went to
Wasn't
a
it
water
always the
park.
same day though, or is that like every school has a different field day?
It would probably be in June because that's typically when the semester ended, or whatever they call it, trimester, when you're in.
And then when's Arbor Day?
Do we celebrate I thought that was Canadian. I don't know. Either way, how much do we hate dads? I mean, how much more can we... Because people already don't give a fuck about Father's Day, right? You give your dad a tie, you get him a sweater, some bullshit. You already didn't care, right? Mother's Day, you do way more. Oh, it's Mom, we're going to go to brunch, we're going to do this. Dad, usually, if you go out anywhere, he's paying, right? Like it does for his birthday, the same thing. Now we have two other things completely overshadowing Father's Day. Two of them, I mean, one's Pride Month.
Slaves and gays.
Yeah. Exactly. Two things that dads hate. Slaves and gays. And they're just...
Don't cancel me for that.
They're just... There's nothing to cancel here. And I mean, really, those other two things are just... They're really there so, like, Ben and Jerry's can make an ice cream flavor, a gay ice cream flavor. I think last year, what was it, Walmart got in trouble for making the Juneteenth ice cream. It was like, I don't know, it had like pieces of chocolate in the shape of whips.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. But yeah, it was... I don't know. I think all holidays are bullshit anyway. They're all just marketing tools to get us to spend money. But I'm here to tell you guys, don't forget to buy your dad something. Do something for fucking Father's Day, goddammit. You could do all the other stuff.
Socks. They all need socks. They all have holes in their socks.
They all got holes in the
Get 'em
black dress
socks.
socks. Yep. Pull the cock out of your mouth for a day. Take off the kufu for June 19th. And get your dad something nice, goddammit. And I think that's how we're going to end this. We're going to end this on a positive note. We wish everyone we spoke about, we wish them well, between Conor McGregor, between the old man that shot himself in the leg, between the cheeky protesters, and, of course, our American hero, the girl who's trying to learn English from Honduras. We wish them all well. As far as comedy dates go, hopefully they happen. We got June 21st... St. Mark's Comedy Club, 28th somewhere in Brooklyn, and the 29th somewhere in Staten Island. So there you go, gang. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. So long now.